Evening, everybody. Welcome to Barber's Arms episode 88 here on Friday, the 24th of June. It's been hot in England this week. Let's see what it's going to be around the world. We've got an international show for you coming up tonight. First of all, me and Gaz are going to take you through the news bits, what happened at Barber Connect, what's been happening in the local areas, and then we're going to go over to the All American. We're going to go flying straight across to Texas, where we're going to be interviewing Gordan Logan, who is the founder of Sport Clips. For me, I think it's the biggest group in the world. Over 1,850 stores across North America and Canada. And then after we finish with Gordan, we're going to go to, he's already been on the show once before, but we're going to go to the very charismatic Frank Gambuzza, who owns the Gambuzza Barbershop chain in America as well. So we've got a stormer here, episode 88. Here we go, without further ado. We're 8 p.m. here in the UK. We're going across to Spain, where Gary is, at 9 p.m. Production team in Australia is 4:30 a.m. And in America, it's 2 p.m. It's international. We're global. We're not local. Without further ado, please welcome Mr. Gary Machin.
Good afternoon, or should I say, buenas tardes, senor.
Buenas tardes.
It is 28 degrees, the beer is cold, and we're loving it at the moment. What are we drinking, mate?
Same as you.
Well, you know what? I've never seen this one before. I went to my local beer emporium, and it's lime and ginger, this one. Not seen that one before. So we've got Desperado. We've got to have a few local brews on that. So we got Cruz Campo, some San Miguel, and of course, some Tinto Verano. So
Tinto's my favourite. If anybody's not had Tinto, and I'm sure you have if you've been to Spain, but Tinto's so refreshing. You drink it like pop, it's like fizzy Ribena with a bit of a kick. But then after about 2 or 3 pints in the afternoon, it does it. It has the nerve cells. I'm sure it does. Guys, we've got a big international show coming up tonight. We're going all stateside. We're all American. We've got some big characters on there. Gordan from Sport Clips. I mean, that's a massive group out there. And back to Frank. I know you've worked with Frank Gambuzza over in America. Looking forward to interviewing these guys. Before we start, though, let's talk about things over here, UK. It's been nice weather this week. Let's just rewind a couple of weeks. Barber Connect, did you enjoy seeing everybody back together again?
It was great. I mean, it was great us being together. We did some filming. We did some dailies from there, didn't we, as well? We got some more footage to go on. But it was, I think it was nice just to see everybody in the flesh. There was some great shows on. There was some great demonstrations. We saw Alan Beaker on one. He was comparing one of the stages. Andy's were there. They had the other main stage. But it was just about seeing people. We had the after show party, which was great. I'm not quite sure what time I got in. I know I lost you going from the party to the foyer of the hotel, so I don't know what went on there.
Listen, I left at a canter, knowing full well I'd make it easy on you that you get caught up with somebody and I won't see you. I was in bed at 10 p.m., which was nice because I felt quite refreshed the next day, but I don't think you did you?
Well, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember it, but I know Alex off the fellowship team, he said I was ringing him at 1:30. Where are you? But I can't remember actually doing that. He was in bed as well, so I think I must have been in the bar somewhere looking for friends. But doesn't make you a bad.
No, it don't make you a bad person. I actually thought the whole atmosphere was kind of nice, though. I think everybody being back together again for the first time for a couple of years. I think we've all seen each other at different bits and pieces, but getting the whole barbering community back together, I actually kind of thought there were a nice atmosphere. Everybody kind of got on well. There's still a few egos about. I've done a few interviews this week and people asking me questions about, is this still happening in barbering? Well, yeah, it's 1,000,000% still. There's still people walking around like Jedi Knights. And at the end of the day, I think you have to have a reality check at some point. I think it's with age you get different.
I honestly think that. I think temperament changes a little bit, but it's don't take it. I'm not saying we're not professional, we don't take it serious, but we're able to laugh it off more now, don't we? You know what I mean? It doesn't actually you aren't stomping around wanting filling people in anymore. So I know it's definitely changed. So I was only talking about that. I said how relaxed. I know you weren't working. We were doing a little bit of work, and you were showing your face and that. You're really good to see you in your natural habitat, but not stomping around. It was good.
Yeah, it was nice, and I got a chance to have lots of meetings with people, speaking to barbers that you don't normally get a chance to do. There's some really nice up and coming people that are not attached to any stands. I have a bit of a gripe, and I'll say it because this is what podcasts should be like. Yes, there is a few dicks about Trevor, you're right. But I have this message to everybody. As a Yorkshire lad, and whether over the years it's sometimes helped or sometimes hindered, but I've always been one to say it as it is. And if you're in a meeting with me, I don't think you ever leave the room not knowing what I think. What frustrates me more than anything, and people are watching this, is that when you come to your face-to-face and you're nice, but you're doing bad deeds behind people's backs, that's where I think the behaviour has to stop. I think I can cope with everything, and even if it's people are going behind your back and doing certain things, then I can cope with that. If that's the way you are, that's the way you are. But don't do the other bit as well, where you come face to face and try and be like, shake your hand, how you doing, pal, how's it going? You have to get in one camp or another. Have some balls, guys. And you know who I'm talking about. There's a few people out there that just aren't acting very properly. And I have to get that off my chest. And we're great on this podcast here at Barber's Arms that we can say that as it is. I'm being very honest there. And I think that's how people should act in life. I was talking to a friend of mine today up in Scotland, and a lot of things with the fellowship, but a real true thing this today. I think I've helped about 7 people today, literally 7 people with a lot of good advice and open a few doors for people. And do you know what, guys? You'll get this. I've had kind of like a warm glow all around me all day today. Just a real nice warm glow that nothing, whatever negative things came at, just a nice warm glow. And I think that happens when you do nice deeds for people. I think good things happen anyway. So, just a little tip for everybody there. Try and do better deeds for people.
I think that's, as professionals anyway, we should be doing that anyway. And there is people out there that are in it for themselves, but that's always been my mind. I took that off my dad, work ethic and how to treat people. I treat people how I want to be treated to me, so. But the thing is, it's all about meeting people. It's about collaboration and everything else. So going on from Barber Connect, there's a few people I want to shout out to. We met hundreds of people, but a few especially, the guys that always watches every week. So I'm talking about Barber M, Mark, Vagabonds, all these people that we get, Steve Bean, all these people that are always on the show, always on the feed. And we actually met and we had photos with them. I had a beer with a few of them as well. Fantastic. And they all had great things to say about their Barber's Arms. I'm not just blowing our own trumpet. But one particular guy come up to me who I've never met before, Tommy Burnett, Arthur's of Ashby. And he came up and he had a little lump in my throat. So if you're watching Arthur, it made me feel very humble when you came up to us. It was a lovely sentiment and all from the Barber's Arms. We completely and utterly thank you from the bottom of our heart, as we do all the viewers every week, but especially through the hard times. It was especially good to hear that we helped. But a few other things. Last show, 40,000 views again, fantastic. Cal Newsom and Sean Sweeney, thank you very much for coming on the show. Another few bits and bobs that went on as well at Barber's Arms, at which I was pleased to see. There was a few new stands there. There was a few missing as well, but we got also the Scottish show at the same time that we clashed with as well at Barber Connect, wasn't it? So I think some of our northern friends and Barber family were up there. Commitments. It happens. These dates get put in years in advance. So it's unfortunate that they clashed. So to all those who we didn't see, I know we see quite a few of them through our jobs as well, traveling around. But I thought it was a really, really nice weekend.
Yeah.
And it was lovely.
I think Matt and Dan deserve a big shout out from Barber Blades. Well done, guys. You've had 2 years out of it. You came back, you did it well, you super organised. I love the after party, even though DJ were like Ray Vaughan from Phoenix Nights. I think you did a really, really good job. Killian and Danny didn't like that at all. To be fair, they didn't like the DJ at all. But look, it was really nice. And like you said, Mark Walters came up first time I met you, Mark. I know you watch us every week, so Jamal were there. I think he had his hair cut, didn't he, while he was there? Jamal from Vagabonds. Rob Grosvenor, he said to me that apparently I've called him ancient on the show. I can't remember that, but Rob, if I did, I do apologise. But it was nice to see you at the show. 40k viewers from last show, again, brilliant. We're coming up to nearly 100 episodes this year. In 2022, we'll do 100 episodes. We did actually, and I want to say this, we did actually miss our 2nd year anniversary while we were in Dubai. So cheers to everybody. The Barbers are 2 years old and then some. Thank you to everybody. 2 years we've been at this now, so that's stood, a real test time. And I think, particularly, everybody else said to me, "Oh, you don't do them every Friday." I think it was something for us in lockdown to really look forward to, both of us being presenters. We had to hang on to that. And I think, I don't know what it were, Gary, I'm sure that things are happening still the same, but we had so many memorable evenings, but we also had some really, disappointing weeks where we had to announce people had passed on. And that don't, in normal time, there's not as many not that we're aware of, as many tragedies. And I think we documented everything in that period of time for everybody. And, say you can't do them. We run out of guests. You can't do them every week. But look, the guys that came up to us at Barber Connect and said that they've watched it. And I know you've been there from the beginning. We know some weeks we can't mention you, but we know you've been there from the beginning. Big shout out to Wahl and British Barbers Association, continue to support this show for those 2 years and the 88 episodes we've done so far. Don't forget, you can catch up on all our past episodes and podcasts as well on our website, which is thebarbersarms.co.uk. You can also get in touch with me on my Instagram, which is Simon Shaw Wahl. Gaz is the British Barber, and our own is Barbers_Arms. Them's our Instagram accounts. And if you want to email us, it is barbersarms@thebritishbarber.com. There are our social media angles. I think we're not far away from going across to America. I'm quite excited tonight.
Well, we've been trying to get this young man on for a long, long time. He's one of the premier influences in American barbering. Well, North American, I shouldn't say American, in North American barbering. And I'm really looking forward. I've never met Gordan before. I've seen his name pop up numerous times, and we tried to get him on the show, but it's going to be a fantastic story, I hope. It's something and somebody I've wanted to learn about for a long time.
Yep, looking forward to it. Just a quick one. Congratulations to all the Scottish Hair and Beauty Awards, Shabba Awards, which is up in September. They were all announced in the last few days. I know Joe's getting super planned. Very honoured again to compare it for my 3rd year in a row. Guys, you need to be coming up to that. In fact, I've got your ticket. I've sorted it.
I was just going to say, can I come this time?
You sat on my table. So we're really looking forward to, yes, it was a shot glass. You've got to keep your eye on Gaz while I'm talking and entertaining you all and coming up with a really good content. Gaz, in the eye corner, we'll be doing shots like in the good old days. Pinging, sorry, Trevor. What is it? What is it?
This is the smallest pint in the world, but it's quite potent. I'm on my favourite when I'm in Spain.
Di Serrano. Well, if you add a little bit of Coke Zero into there, you've definitely got your Dr. Peppers.
Oh, no, it's I like it on the rocks, but I can't fit the rocks in tonight, so I'm just going to do it quick and easy. But this, I can drink this till it comes out my ears. But in Spain, I don't know what it is about it. It's just me drink. Well, it's me drink when I'm full of everything else.
Before we shoot across to Texas, what's your weather like in Spain?
Sorry, say that again.
What's your weather like in Spain?
Today has been exceptionally hot today. It was 38 to 42 on the beach today. We got in the car and on the dash it was 42 degrees. Rach took a little photo, you know, as you do for posterity. But on the balcony on the roof terrace here this morning at 9:45 with a coffee, it was 27.5 degrees.
Beautiful. I love Spain. I've opted this year. I mean, I've done a lot of international traveling, which is good. Australia in a few weeks, but I'm going to join in with Trev for a few days as well. But I've opted this year. I'm going with my daughter and my grandkids and son-in-law. We've got a villa down in Sicily.
No way.
Yeah, so we're going to Sicily in August, so I can't wait for that. That should be fantastic. Anyway, enough of Sicily, enough of Spain. Let's fly across to America and welcome our first guest here on episode 88 in conjunction with the British Barbers Association and Wahl. Without further ado, possibly, we will find out tonight, is this the biggest chain in the world? Okay, so without further ado, let's head over to Texas and please welcome Gordan Logan, who is the founder of Sport Clips.
Good afternoon.
Hey,
I guess it's
Gordan.
Evening.
Good
Depends on what time zone we're in.
We're on just 8:15 in the evening. I think you'll be 2:15-ish. Are you in the afternoon?
Yes, it's 2 o'clock here.
Well, Gordan, welcome to Barber's Arms for people who's watching us here in the UK, but also around the world. We're just saying, and I'm going to pass you on to Gary in a minute, but your intro there was possibly now the biggest chain of salons, barbershops, and in the world. I don't know if there's any bigger.
We have about 1,800 franchise locations, and then we own and operate about 70 ourselves. So we're actually, I think, the third largest franchise and chain in the U.S., perhaps in the world. I'm not sure.
I don't know any bigger deal, guys.
No, I mean, it's an absolute pleasure. Gordan, thank you very much for coming on the show. I know we've been courting you a long time to get you on here. And I know you don't do this very often, so we're very honoured to have you on the show. And with being one of the main influencers, or the main influencer in barbering in North America, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, sir. And I love the hat, by the way. I've always wanted to be a cowboy.
Well, a hat and a pair of boots, so we can fix you right up, Gary.
Next time I'm in Texas, I nearly bought a pair of boots last time I was teaching in Texas. And I phoned the wife and I said, I'm buying a pair of boots and I'm buying a hat. And she says, you dare. So good.
I was going to say, a few people saying, Gary, anyway, you're a cowboy.
Oh, so I knew that. I knew I was leading you into that one. I was giving you that one, Simon. That's one of those things. We've already heard of Simon, Gordan, that you are from Texas. You're based in Texas, but you're all over. I think you've got stores all over in nearly every state in North America and in Canada. Just quickly, I always do this. This is our first question with guests, but I think this might take a long time. So, very quickly, give us your story. Where you started and where you are now. Quick 2-minute bio.
Okay. I opened my first salon in February of 1979 in Austin, Texas. And that was a full service salon. It was a franchise concept. And then in the early 1990s, we were looking at industry and which niches were being served and which were not. And in the US, at least, no one was paying any attention to the men and boys market. And the barber schools were actually going out of business back then. And as the older barbers died or retired, there weren't that many young barbers coming up to replace them. So men were being forced to go to family haircutters or even salons, which back then, a lot of times you'd see unisex signs in the window or men welcome. But we felt like there was a real opportunity. We created a concept that targeted men and boys, created an ambiance that so when they walked in the front door, they look around and say, okay, my kind of place, I feel comfortable here. And also trained our hairstylists to do good quality men's haircuts, because many of the hair cutters in the U.S., in fact, many more cosmetologists than we have barbers, probably by a factor of at least 10, don't really get any training about doing men's haircuts. So we felt like if we were able to provide a comfortable environment and a good experience, that there would be a market for that. And I think we recognize a lot of men don't look forward to getting a haircut. It's something you need to do every few weeks. But so we have always, from the very beginning, put a lot of emphasis on the experience, more than just a haircut. Not only the ambiance, but also in the haircut. We try to deliver a good quality haircut. But we have reclining, heated, massaging shampoo chairs, and we all of our shampoo bowls have always been what we call here European style shampoo bowls. I don't know what you call them in Europe or Britain, but where the stylist stands behind the client, and that way it's a lot easier on the stylist, and they're able to do a much nicer massaging shampoo. Back there at the shampoo bowls, we'll always put a hot towel on the face that's lightly scented with facial and scalp massage, and then finish it off with a nice neck and shoulder massage, which is fairly common in barbershops, but not so much in most of the other salons in the U.S. So that's what we started. Opened our first one in '93, started franchising in '95. Took us about 5 years to get up to 50 locations, and then we added another 50 in the next 2 years. And since then, up until a couple of years ago, we were adding between 100 and 150 stores a year, and starting to get back into that swing again. Looks like this year we're on track to open about 60 or 65 this year.
Yeah. So how many have you got at the moment then, Gun?
Right at 1,900.
1,900 stores.
Wow. So, Gordon, we're going to go through some questions, and then we'll finish off with a little bit of character building questions at the end of it. My first question to you, I've never interviewed anybody that's in control, whether they're owned or whether you're operating a franchise system who has got 1,900 salons under the belt. What is the most single issue, problem that you get recurring that if you could take away would make your job easier? What's the one thing that's the biggest nightmare running that many salons?
Simon won't come in surprise to you. People, finding and keeping good people has always been a challenge. It's really gotten to be more difficult the last couple of years. I think the COVID and the shutdowns, it looks like that really changed a lot of people's habit patterns. It's going to take a long time to get back to what we considered normal. But even our full-time stylists, 40 hours a week just doesn't happen very often anymore, where it used to be the norm. Our average system-wide is about 27 hours a week our stylists work, which means you have to hire half again as many stylists as we used to have to. So that's a challenge for us. The maintaining consistency across 1,900 locations is a challenge. And for that reason, from day one, we really streamlined the services and delivery systems to try to make sure that if you come into sport clubs in Texas or California or New York or Ontario, that you get essentially the same experience. I mean, obviously there are differences between one stylist and next, but we do teach we developed and teach a cutting system. It's a technique of how stylists can plan and execute a haircut efficiently, maintaining their productivity while delivering a consistent quality product across the country.
I mean, is that something you said you're just getting back in the swing now? You're going to open another 50, 60 stores. Is that because of COVID and the effects of, and also the hours that people want to work? Is it because of is that a hangover of COVID, or is that just something that's evolved?
No, that really is a hangover from COVID. We've always had a lot of part-time people, stylists working for us, but the last couple of years, that's gotten to be more pronounced. Our average back pre-COVID was about 32, 33 hours a week. Now it's down to about 27. So there's a definite trend in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's happened worldwide. I think people, or young people especially, they don't want to do full hours anymore. They want to pick and choose what days they do and how they do them. And I think that's happening all over the world. I don't think that's just a problem with sports clips. it's just one of those things. The question I've got for you, Gordon, if you could make two changes, it either be general or law for the barbering industry, you know, it could be anything. What would you do?
Well, Gary, I spent a lot of time the last 10 to 12 years working on government relations and industry issues. And we have a different system in the US, as you probably know, that each state has different laws about licensure, and they vary a lot. And for some reason, they measure the time that a student has to spend in school by classroom hours, seat time. And that varies anywhere from 1,000 hours in some states to 2,300 in others. So it really is illogical. So we've been trying to work on several things. One is reducing the barriers to entry so we can get more people coming into our industry. It is not uncommon for someone to go into cosmetology or beauty school and spend a year and a half, $20,000 in tuition. It could cost them $40,000, $50,000 to become licensed, which is a real barrier to entry. The government does provide a lot of student loans, but then again, they got to pay them back. So that's a burden for them. So we're trying to get the hours reduced, the barriers to entry reduced. We had some success. We 2 years ago, we had 2 states that 1,000. Now we have 5. I think we'll see some more come in that direction. So that will increase the supply of barbers and cosmetologists around the country. So that is one thing that would be a huge help. Other than that, we just continue to look for ways we can make it a more meaningful career for our team members. We have a number of examples now of stylists that started out behind the chair, became a store manager, perhaps became an area manager for a larger franchisee, and now are becoming franchisees themselves. One of my greatest success stories is a young lady that immigrated here from Iran, a refugee, 30 years ago. Could barely speak English, made it through cosmetology school. It was really interesting. I said, well, how did you do that since you didn't speak English? I said, well, I'd sit there in class and try to pay attention, and every night I'd take my Farsi English dictionary and sit down and go, oh, that's what they were talking about. So she started out with me as a stylist, became a manager, and now she has 10 franchise locations.
Wow.
So there are other examples around, but providing career opportunities for store managers, area managers, educators. We have over 100 educators supporting our stores around the country. 3 of our vice presidents are licensed hairstylists. So there's meaningful careers.
What's your involvement, Gordon? What's your involvement day to day?
Excuse me?
What's your involvement on a daily basis?
I probably spend 50% of my time on sport clips, and the other time I do a lot of work in the industry, as I mentioned, and also some of the causes we support, like I'm on the board of directors of the Veterans of Foreign Wars for the U.S. and USO for provide services to our service members and other things. So I try to be, my son now is the CEO, and he's doing a great job, has been for the last couple of years. He took over right in the middle of COVID, so it was trial by fire. But he's doing a great job, and I'm happy to let him take the lead. And any way I can be supportive, I'm happy to do that, both as a PR part of it.
When you look at the map and the pins in the map where your stores are, do you feel proud?
Do I feel proud?
Yeah.
You know, I am really pleased that we have been able to provide careers for as many people as we have, and franchisees who are achieving their dreams. We have about 15,000 stylists working for us in all of the salons. Wow. And to see some of these kids that started out as hairstylists become like the first manager I ever hired in 1993 for Sport Clips. That's one of our vice presidents now. Been with us almost 30 years.
So there's been a progression through whether people come on as a stylist, they've got chances of taking franchises on and moving and progressing. I love it. I really love it. The question a little bit left field now, but if you could be a film star that would describe your character the best, who would it be?
If I could be a what?
A film star.
A film star.
Who would resonate with Gordan the best?
Well, not that there's any similarities, but Tom Cruise plays in pretty cool movies. Being in Top Gun and Top Gun 2, that'd be a ton of fun. So, that or one of the movies about the race cars. He's done some of that too. So,
That's great.
Nice, class. I like it. So we've got a Tom Cruiser in the house.
Good. I know you're a Texan and you're a very proud people there. I've been to Texas and worked all over Texas as well, and they're great people, very patriotic. You see a flag, you can't turn a corner through any street without seeing a flag, can you? And I noticed you've just said you work with the veterans, and I think you got some great attributes to yourself and the company. And you've just let us know that it's a family company as well, which is even better. My father was a barber and my son's a barber, so we've got some things in common there as well. Another thing we wanted to ask you, from your point, I know you've taken a little bit of a backseat and your son's taking it forward. Is the franchise route the way you're going now? How many actual stores do you own as yourself or as the family, or is it all franchises now?
No, we have 70 locations that we operate in 4 different states. And we're also working with Frank Gambuzza, who's he's a world-class barber. You may know Frank. We're developing a barbershop concept that's going to be a good complement to sport clubs, as at a higher price point with additional services than we offer in sport clubs. So I think the future's bright. We have a lot of runway.
We know Frank very well. We've worked with Frank. I've worked in Tennessee with Frank, and he's been a past president of Intercoiffeur, and he's actually on the show after you. So we're going to ask him what you really like. I know you look and sound great, but we're going to get some dirt on you as well. With Gambuzza's barbershops, I know that's another direction you're going in. You said you're going for a bit of a higher service. What just for our viewers out there, what's your price point for your average service then, and what's the difference with that than Gambuzza's?
The sport club services, average ticket is close to $30, between $25 and $30. It varies around the country. The Gambuzza's price point is about $10 higher, about $10 higher.
Okay. So would you say you're middle of the road? You're not the lowest, you're not the highest. You're I'm not saying that your service is average, but you want to be to the masses, are you, sports clubs?
Well, in the U.S., we have what we call the value price concepts, great clubs and the supercuts and some others. And we like to be at the top end of that. We try to keep the price reasonable, but we don't try to compete with the low-cost providers. And in the premium providers like the Gambuzza's barbershops are, then that demands a higher price. And of course, the standards and expectations of the clients are higher as well. So you have to balance those.
Nice. I think one of the biggest challenges that you've said it already, and when I asked the question about would be for me when you come up with the idea of a brand, the concept, the service levels, like you said, each stylist will have their own slightly artistic integrity. But the actual feel of the place, if you have a Big Mac in Chicago, it should be the same in New York. And I think same when you've got a big chain like that, I would say, that would be one of my biggest is really having lots of foot soldiers out there, making sure that the standard is maintained across all of your branches.
Well, brand standards are critical, and we put a lot of emphasis on a lot of training. As I mentioned, we have a lot of educators, but that is something that I feel I'm pretty comfortable that we're doing a pretty decent job. We get feedback from a lot of people who are talking to us about being a franchisee, who have gone into stores in different states, and feedback we get is the experience is quite consistent. We never achieve perfection, and we're always trying to make it better, but That is something that all of our systems and procedures and our training programs are designed to increase the probability of consistent service throughout.
Excellent. One more question I have before we start on a bit of fun stuff. But if you went back to 1979 and you were starting again, is there anything at all that you would do different?
Well, I would certainly not be honest if I said, no, nothing at all. I did everything perfectly. Made a lot of mistakes, of course, over the years, and I was new to the industry, so I had a lot to learn. And I learned a lot when perms went bad. And the stylist would say, oh, we had a bad batch of perms. Well, I did a little digging and I found out that probably wasn't true. And so I just sat in on a lot of haircutting classes and a lot of perms and chemical classes to try to learn as much as I could so that I was conversant. The franchise I was in went bankrupt about a year and a half after I got into it. So that wasn't necessarily the best choice, but it did teach me how to be, forced me to be independent and be able to fend for ourselves and learn a lot about the industry and so forth. And so I'm not a stylist. I might say I'm not a stylist, but I like them so much I married one. My wife is a very talented stylist, and she's been instrumental in helping us develop our salons and actually ran our company stores for a number of years before our son took over that part of the business. So picking her was absolutely the best thing I ever did. But we made some false starts along the way. We were feeling our way in a lot of different ways. So what we try to do in a franchise is we made a lot of mistakes, and we try to develop systems and training programs to help our franchisees avoid making the same mistakes.
Can I just ask you, that's a really good question. I know you weren't a stylist. I didn't realize that. What was your background before you started into barbershops, and how and who does your training for you?
Well, I have an engineering degree. I worked as an engineer for a while. Then I joined the Air Force. I flew C-130s in the Air Force for 5 years and 2 years in reserves. Then I went to got my master's in business administration and worked for Price Waterhouse, a good British firm, and for 4 years in their consulting group, based out of Houston. And I read an article in the Wall Street Journal one morning that about this new hair care franchise, and I've been thinking about doing something on my own, and it sounded interesting. So to make a long story short, I became a franchisee of that system. The training programs they had were minimal. So I had a lot of on-job learning, as I mentioned, sitting in on a lot of cutting classes and other classes, trying to learn as much as I could about the business and trying to network with as many salon owners as I could. And back in the 80s, there was really active grassroots associations. Almost every little town had an affiliate of the National Cosmetology Association. And so I got involved in that and tried to learn from other people who've been in the business much longer than I, and put together a little piece here and a little piece there, and managed to survive.
Fantastic.
Amazing story. And I love that it's an amazing story with you, but I like the amazing stories that's still happening within the group. You spoke about the Iranian girl that didn't speak English, and she's come through and learned that, and then now got 10 franchises. You know, she's having probably a great lifestyle, working hard, but reaping the benefits from working hard. And we say that all the time. You cannot look at people on Instagram and think they've got a nice car, they've got nice clothes on. I'm going to be a barber. These guys work really hard. They're working 6-7 days a week, 12 hours a day to get that lifestyle. And your story's no different. Gordan, we're going to finish off with some quick fire questions, if that's okay. If you're all set, here we go. Gordan Logan, probably from, I don't know anybody else. Anybody else wants to comment in on the comment box and let us know? I don't know any chain that's as big as Sport Clips globally. But let's say you're all across the globe. People are watching tonight, tomorrow, from India, from China, wherever you are. If you know a bigger group, then let us know. Gordan, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food, that would have to be what we call in Texas a chicken fried steak. That sounds very strange, but you know what fried chicken is with the batter on it. And we batter up a really good steak and fry it. And that's a unique Texas type dish. And it's something that we don't eat all the time, but it's a treat. But we like to grill on the barbecue, and so we do steaks and lamb and fish. So we eat a lot of fish. I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to food. I like it all.
Tell you about the where we're based. Wahl's based up in Sterling, Illinois, and there's a famous place there called Chicken George, and it's just fried chicken, beautiful. And they do it with a famous jam sauce. It's the best. Everyone said we've had fried chicken, but this is just a different level. The batter is just like unbelievable. So I get you with your chicken fried steaks. What's your favorite drink?
Favorite drink would be a gin and tonic.
And what kind of music do you like?
Music. Again, I like a lot of music. I like what we call country and western here. I like Motown type music, the soul music from the 60s. I must admit, I'd listened to a lot of oldies stations on the radio, so I haven't fully adapted to the modern tunes. Still.
Hey, nobody's country western will do for me. What's your favorite destination? If you had to pick somewhere where you love being and love going, where is it?
Well, next week we're heading to back to South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina and have family there. So we're going to spend some time at the beach in South Carolina. So the South Carolina coast is just delightful. Charleston, South Carolina is one of our favorite cities, and so
I've been there, Gary. It's beautiful, and there's like we go down to the Harbour area, and there's big cruise ships in there. There's the Mardi Gras. I went in January, and climate was still 60, 70. It's just a fantastic place, South Carolina.
Great talk. Beautiful.
Gordan, if you could have an ideal dinner date for one night, just not a weird date, but just to have a meal and food and drink and canter and chat. It can be from the past, it can be present, it could be the future. Who would you like to have an ideal dinner date with?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. One of the people I've really admired over the years is Colin Powell, who was in the Army and became an Army general and became our Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State. So he's a very accomplished person in many different areas, and always admired him for bootstrapping it. I mean, he came from modest means and worked hard and earned every stripe he got all the way through, and became extremely successful. I think a great role model for many of us.
He was quite poignant to the Iraq War, weren't he? He kind of like led the stuff in the Iraq War. Yeah.
Okay. Our producers just pinged us. Our producers just pinged us and said he met him in Dubai when he was living in Dubai, Mr. Powell. So, yeah.
Here we go then, Gordan Logan, who's running the biggest chain of hairdressing barbershops across probably the world, but certainly in North America and Canada. Sport Clips, the man, the founder, being here on Barber's Arms. He's having his favourite food, which is a chicken fried steak. He's having his favourite drink, which is gin and tonic. He's doing all this while he's listening to some country and western music. And his favourite destination, which is South Carolina, and he's doing all this with the very impressive Mr. Colin Powell. Gordan, thank you for being on Barber's Arms. All the best, mate. It's great to meet you. And hopefully when I'm in the States, we'll try and hook up and come and see one of your stores.
Well, thank you for having me on, Simon, Gary. I enjoyed the conversation.
Well done, mate. Thank you very much.
Listen, just one thing I've got to ask you before we go, because I know I've got messages pinging up all the time. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, sir. But do you ride a horse daily?
I like my horses under the hood. In fact, I like British cars. I have my first Jaguar I bought in 1969. I still have, and so that's my hobby is collecting cars, and especially British cars.
Oh well, that was a very good year, sir, because that was the year I was born.
Excellent. Yeah, my dad was from Scotland, so that probably explains some of the affinity I have for the British cars.
Fantastic. Well, we hope to meet up with you sometime very soon. As you know, we are traveling again. We're not traveling as much as we used to be, but we've traveled all over. I think there's about 3 or 4 states that I haven't been to, teaching and working. So when we're back in Texas, we'll definitely hook up and we'll have a steak. So lovely to have you on the show, sir. Please
do. My pleasure.
Thanks, Gordan. All the best, mate. Well, guys, I mean, you look at the amount of salons. I mean, we've got course at 1850, but they keep on rising. I mean, the operations director and operations manager must have a team of like hundreds of people to maintain the corporate standard of sport clips.
Can you imagine opening 50 to 60 stores a year? That's what, more than 1 a week they're opening. That's sourcing, that's fitting them out. I mean, that takes some organisation, doesn't it? I mean,
listen, are you doing your podcast tonight from a zoo? Because I can hear birds tweeting, dogs barking, tigers roaring, and a jaguar in bedroom ready for you. What's happening?
To be honest, mate, I keep going, I don't know if you noticed, I keep muting myself as much as I possibly can. I've got a dog across the road who keeps barking. I've got we always, when we come back this time of year, I sent you some photos today, didn't we? We've had the palm trees all pruned and everything today. But there's a swallow's nest. I'm outside on the downstairs terrace, and I've got a swallow's nest directly above my head with 3 young chicks in. And the mother and father keep coming in, sweeping in and feeding these birds. So that's why but I haven't got the heart to not, because as soon as they've emptied, they make it out of, I don't know if you've noticed, if you know how a swallow makes its nest, but it's all made of mud. And it's like an oval circle. They can't come out. And they just feed them all day. And then by the time we usually come in July, they're gone. So I just knock it off, I repaint. But every time we come back, there's another new nest there. And it's an archway, and they do it right in the...
Sure most barbers are watching this, and people watching around the world will be gutted that you've had your palm trees cut today and the weather is in the mid-30s and all you have to do is knock a swallow's nest off and repaint.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to do it.
Really well with everybody who's watching.
Do you know what? We should have asked. I'm sure he's the type of guy, Gordan, as well. I bet he had a little sneaky beer hidden away. I bet he was drinking all the way through that, but didn't actually show it. But anyway, are you having a short with me, seeing as we're on holiday?
No. I'm working on Monday. It's Friday. I had a really fantastic Father's Day on Sunday. My daughter, my son-in-law Josh, my daughter Brittany, and son Alex, they took me to Beebe's in Leeds, and it was my other pal's birthday the same day. It's 50th. And so I went out with the family around about 12:30, 1 o'clock. We had a great meal in Leeds. And then I got back to Barnes about 4:30, went to this party, got in at 10. And I had to travel to Bristol on Monday. I felt rough all week. So, yeah, I'm going to have to take it nice and steady.
Hey, do you know what it was as well? It was my birthday last weekend as well.
I know. I wish happy birthday.
I had an absolutely mega... it was Friday night with the lads, Saturday with the women, couples, and then Father's Day as well. What a weekend. You couldn't get it any better than that on Thursday. Came home.
Friday with lads, Saturday with women. Cutting your palm trees. You can't be a son today, by the way.
Well, it's funny as well, because my lady's been rollicking you. She says, "How come you're so brown on the first day?" I goes, "What do you mean?" She says, "It's bloody you and Simon on the beach in Dubai. It's supposed to be working. You're not really on the beach." I goes, "Doesn't make me a bad person." So
you won't do it, Rachel. What I've learned now by traveling is the down days that you get. I don't meet anybody, don't discuss anything, try not to get involved in anything. And if it's nice climate, round a pool or round onto the beach and just relax, and it does help in between. So Gary, we are now going to shoot over to, are we in New York next?
No, we're in Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Tennessee, Knoxville, Johnny Knoxville land. Okay, so guys, keep your comments coming in. I know, again, people on Friday night sometimes are busy, so it don't matter about live views. It's all about the views afterwards. So if you're watching this tonight or tomorrow morning, over the weekend, and we know people choose their Barber's Arms all at different times, and it's fantastic to be here. Don't forget to follow us on Barbers_Arms. Gaz is the British Barber. Simon Shaw, Wahl, them's as Instagrams, podcasts for the last 87 episodes. You would find us on the barbersarms.co.uk, and for emails, email us at the barber.com. So without further ado, let's get over to Knoxville. And he's been on this show once before, massive character. Again, another massive chain of salons in America. So without further ado, let's please welcome again here on Barber's Arms, Mr. Frank Gambuzza. Hey, Frank.
Are you there, Frank?
How you doing, man?
How are you, Frank, my main man? How are you,
How you
Steve?
doing? So you doing all right? Yeah, can you hear me?
I think
Can
your pictures froze, but
you
we
hear
can hear you.
me,
But
Gary?
We can hear you. There you go. You're back.
what you on, Frank? Are you on Wi-Fi or data?
I'm not live. You don't see me waving?
Your picture's frozen, but we can hear you.
I believe I'm on Wi-Fi.
Go to 3G or 4G if you can. It'll probably be better.
Okay. I can hear you. I can.
Hello.
Let's see what we can do, Gary.
All right, then, mate. If you can hear us, we just had your very good friend.
I'm here, Gary.
Can you hear? Yeah. Mr. Frank. Well, let's just introduce Mr. Frank Gambuzza. Frank's, for all our viewers out there, Frank's been on the show before. I think it was episode 38. We had over 100,000 views on that episode. So Frank is no stranger to the show. He did have Frank's and now he's gone to Gambuzza's barbershops.
Who's got whitest teeth, me or Frank? Mine's natural.
You've had turkey teeth, haven't you?
How about me, Gary? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Great.
No. You.
Sorry?
No picture.
Gary's frozen. Gary, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I can see you. You were frozen for a minute. Yeah, we're having an internet issue, obviously. All right.
Can you switch over to data?
I sound better than I look, so maybe that's good. I can't hear them.
Fantastic. We've just had your very good friend on, Mr. Logan. He's gone completely now, has he?
I'm just messaging now to see whether he can switch over.
Gone again. Yeah.
Well, look, if you get back to us again, but it'd be nice to get Frank on and see him and interview him again. But I think we're having real difficulties there in Knoxville with Wi-Fi and his service provider. So
let me just tell you where he's actually based. He's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and he's very near Dollyland. You know Dolly Parton?
Yeah, I like it. Country and Western music, best.
Well, she's got her own. Are you there?
Gary.
Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Gary?
We can't hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but can't see you.
Carry on talking, Frank. We'll do it without you.
Gone again. So we'll try one more time. If not, we'll keep on because obviously it's not much of a show when we can't. People are in and out. So, guys, we're trying to get Frank back on here if we can. Then we'll see what we can do. We'll try and get him back without video if possible. So we'll just see what we can do. Gary, just going back to the Gordan Logan guys, you know, if you saw him in the street, you would not look at the guy to have the biggest barbering chain in the world. You just want
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, you know when he said as well, I flew C-130s. They like the biggest transport plane that you know for the USAF and the RAF run them as well. But they're the big ones that take all the transports and all the troops all over the place and everything. So he's a qualified pilot. He's worked for a hedge fund as well in the UK. What a man.
Gary, can you
come on,
that's
Frank,
it.
get together.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect. That is perfect. And we can see you.
Awesome, man. This is okay. I gave it one last shot.
Perfect, sir. And how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I apologize for the inconvenience, but perseverance prevails.
Oh, always, always. Just turn whatever device you're on, Frank, turn it sideways so we can see you. That's it.
Yeah, that's
perfect. Perfect.
Better?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we had some issues. We have some construction going on outside the barbershop. They're changing some underground wiring. I think that was the issue. Does this work now?
Yeah. You're absolutely fine. And we can see. Where are you in your storeroom?
Yeah, exactly. I was in the corporate office and it wasn't working there. I have literally, you know what goes on in show business, we really shouldn't say, but it's been a wild ride for the last 45 minutes trying to make this happen. So,
well, Frank, it's lovely to have you back. It's great to see you in person, you face to face. It's a year. It's over a year. It's 15 months since we last spoke to you on the show. Episode 37. We had 100,000 views that show. January 21. So it's lovely to have you back. We've just been talking to your very good friend, Gordan Logan, that you are very, very. I think you're in bed together now, aren't you? You're doing a little project together, Gambuzza's Barbershop.
well, we might be in the same house, but we're in two different bedrooms, just so you know. I told you, he's too damn old for me to get in bed with him.
So just for the viewers who are out there, we always do this anyway. Just introduce yourself, who you are, what you are, where you came from, and where you are now, sir. Just a 2-minute bio.
Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so my name's Frank Gambuzza. I'm from the state of New Jersey. This is all I've ever done. I've been a barber since age 10. I was a shoe shine boy in a barbershop. Keep me off the streets. We grew up in the inner city. My dad didn't want me running around, so we got me a job at a young age and fell in love with being a barber. And, you know, back then it was literally a white tile barbershop, and it was the craft in which we get to do again today, but it went away for a while, right? So I sort of transitioned into being a hairdresser, went to London, went to the Davies Muse, Vidal Sassoon School, spent a month there and started doing basically women's hair, but short hair. So I was still using barber skills. And, you know, hence 45 years later, we opened barbershops in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it was sort of like getting back on the bicycle. You fell off and didn't know how easy it would be to ride it again. And although it's different, a lot's the same. I'm a father, married, father of 5 children, 4 of which are in the business. My oldest son is a national platform artist for Redken here in the States. And he's doing all our international training for Gambuzza's barbershops as well. We own salons, we own barbershops. We used to own spas. We got out of that business due to the fact that you touched a whole lot of money, you just didn't get to keep any of it. So we thought that wasn't a good business plan. We might want to exit that and get further into barbershop. So that's what we're doing now. You just spoke to my partner, Gordan, who I think is the most brilliant man in the industry, actually. Very, very bright. His background is impeccable. And that's what we're doing now. We're going towards spreading barbershops, but at a very high level, upmarket, no compromise barbershops.
We were just saying, Frank, not that we know of, but you might, I don't know, a bigger group in the world barring sport clips.
As far as for men's hair?
Yeah, is there a bigger group out there globally that's got as many salons as what sport clips have?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't even know if any that have, I don't know if any that are even half the size, Simon.
Yes, unbelievable.
Frank,
we've had you on before, so some of our viewers know you. I love interviewing you. I learn off you while I'm talking to you. You've got fantastic businesses as well, and like you say, you understand it completely. And especially as we get older, you become oblivious to the BS, and you know, turnover's vanity, profit is sanity. So we might turn over millions, but it's what you can get your hands on, like you said. In your career, in your life, who's been your business hero, the business guru that you looked up, that you've said, I want to be like her, I want to be like him, he or she learns me? Who's been your business guru?
You know, Simon, I think there's always a handful, but when you have to break it down, there's kind of one that jumps out. And for me, hands down, it's the one. John Jay, who was the Intercoiffure America kind of president here in the States, kind of took me under his wing. He had hair salons, wasn't a barber, he was a hairdresser. And he very similar to Alexandre in Paris or Guillaume. He was friends of theirs. He was from that group. Luis Langeris, Peter Coppola, this whole group of internationals. And the thing about John Jay, he was a businessman that did great hair and used hair salons as a vehicle to get independently wealthy.
Yeah.
So, you know,
really
when I went to Australia years ago, I did a 6-city tour. Actually, I've done it 3 times, but the very first time I went, there was a term that stood out to me very heavily. And it was till versus trophy. And to an American, I needed some explanation on that, right? I kind of understood. I understood the wording, but I wanted a little more clarity. And it was very evident after about 11 seconds that either you did it for the till to hopefully pay rent, raise your kid, put him in a good school, possibly retire one day and not, you know, having to cut hair. I don't plan on ever stopping it, but I want to know I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to. Yeah. And John Jay was till over trophy, but he had many trophies. And what he believed is, if you're not financially in a position to do it to succeed, then how are you going to stay creative? How are you going to stay passionate? How are you going to stay invigorated? And how can you sort of serve others with that same passion? As salon owners and barbershop owners, we're kind of responsible for keeping that passion alive. So to answer your question in short, John Jay, hands down, was my mentor.
You know,
do you know what? We have a lot of young barbers on here, and they're doing great. And they say, I want to open another shop, I want to do this, but I want to step back from the chair a little bit, and you know, I want to go on stage. And you've just answered that question exceptionally well, because it's very easy to get swept up in the euphoria of being on stage and doing and going and people asking you. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to make money while you're not there as well, aren't you, Frank? You know what I mean? You've done it. You've done it. Had the T-shirt. You were ex-president of Intercoiffure. You sit on the board of Intercoiffure. You travel the world. But even when you're away, you still got to be making money back in Knoxville, haven't you?
Yeah. You know, my belief is you got to make money when you're sleeping. You know, and the thing, Gary, you know, we have a lot of staff that want to be Instagram stars or platform artists or represent manufacturers, and I'm all for that under one condition, and it's not negotiable. All that has to be on top of being very, very successful in the barbershop, not in place of it. It's got to be on top of it. So you got to work your 5-day week. You want to do weekends? You don't do them in place of taking off 2 days at the barbershop. You do them on top of doing 2 days, 5-day weeks, right? It has to be extra. It can't be in place of, because when you start trading, till for trophy, I think you're heading down the wrong path and a very dark future.
What a fantastic, I can't tell you what a great answer that is. I'm going to use that. I'm going to pinch that exact saying in every talk I ever do now. And I know Simon is as well.
Well, Frank, you can imagine in my position, how many people want to come to me and give me the CV. They want to be ambassadors. They want to get paid monthly. They want to get free products. And I look at them and I always say to people when they're entering like awards and they're spending tens of thousands of pounds on a photographic shoot, your long-term goal when you win that trophy, how does that affect your business? If it's zero, fucking waste of money. A massive waste of money. If it's going to be that in your area, that is going to get you more clients through your door, it's going to build your business, it's going to increase your business by 20%, then your KPIs will be easily achievable, that you're spending £10,000 on a photo shoot to make yourself look fantastic. You've won this award and it's increased your business by 20%. That for me is sanity. All the ego. I mean, I think the UK is probably, we employ a lot of the big names in the US, your Bird Meaners, your A-Rods, all that kind of stuff. For me though, you have to make sure what you've just said, guys, listen to this, and you're listening to it from one of the best in the world here, from America. You have to be successful, barber, stylist. You've got to be the biggest money earner in your shop. When you've got that, then things will happen anyway.
Yeah, there's no doubt, right? The thing when it comes to that, my question always is, if somebody wants to do something that's going to cost money, that's fine. But how do we then monetize it? How do we monetize that first place trophy? My son won the BarberCon here in the Southeast, and he came first place, and he was all excited. And 10 minutes after it was over, we went for a drink. I said, okay, how do you visualize we monetize this trophy now? Okay, do we raise your price? What is the best way that we're going to be able to turn this into a better? You got to live a better living if you're gonna do that, right? So the way I look at, we sell time slots for a living. We just happen to cut hair. Yeah. And how much do you get per time slot? What is your time slot? Is it 30 minutes or 45? Is it 1 hour? Is it $1 per hour? Is it $4 per hour? We have to maximize our time slots that we sell, and each time slot is no different than food. It's perishable. And if you don't fill that time slot, it's the same as a restaurant having to throw away a rotten head of lettuce. They didn't get nothing for it. If a time slot is left vacant, you got nothing for that hour. So if we could keep every time slot full and get maximum money for the time slot, now we're cooking with grease.
Yeah, I love
it.
You know
what? It's fantastic ethos, and I've met you. I've worked in your barbershops. I've offered services there. Met your lovely family. Been to your lovely home as well. I mean, Simon, you've got to go to this guy's house. It's on the river. It's beautiful. I mean, his hospitality is second to none. Just getting back to serious things. You work on a lot of boards. You sit on Intercoiffeur International. I know you've travelled the world as a business leader as well, and a stylist. What would I give this? I gave this question to when we talk about this, Mr. Logan said he gave us. I don't know if you were watching earlier, but he gave us his answer. What are the two things that you would change in the industry, or if you could change? Not law. It could be anything. It could be general. It could be set in stone. What two things would you change for the barbershop for the better?
Well, I would have loved to seen Gordan, even though he's my partner. Every time I'm with him, there's new information. But Trevor, for some reason, wouldn't let me in. I was trying to listen in, and he kept saying, you have to wait till someone, and I'm thinking, I felt like a second-class citizen. I couldn't even get on the show, man.
It's like that.
Yeah, you know what you have to do. You have to have another device on the side to watch the show in silence at the same time.
Okay, well,
you gotta
tell me what.
Up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
Hey,
that's why you make the big bucks, Gary. Right there. That's why.
Frank, you should have been over in Dubai with us. You should have had a week with us in Dubai. We filmed some Barber's Arms stuff over in Dubai. It was really, really nice. And I think, Trevor, you need to be speaking to Frank next time we're over in Dubai. Come over and have a week with us, because I love listening to you talk, and we're on the same wavelength when it comes to business in terms of driving that customer service, making sure that each person, every time you go in, every haircut, you make money, you're profitable. You know, a business without a profit is like a body without a soul. You know,
absolutely.
Same filters down to the stylist and the barber, is that, you know, don't chase these, like, if you can do both, fantastic. Take the till and take the trophy. I'm going to use that all the time, by the way.
I knew you would.
If you can't, trust me, and I'm giving you this, and I work for a brand, but if it were my choice, I'm going to ask you this question in a minute, Frank. If I had to start again, what would I choose? When I used to work in a salon, would always be till.
Yeah.
When people say, how many trophies you know what? I want to keep all my trophies in the bank. Simple as. Simple as.
You'll have, yeah, and you know, I say that I don't want anybody listening to say that you ignore that. I mean, I won the United States Men's Championship 22 times, so I went for the trophy as well. But when I went, I got on a plane after I was done cutting hair all day Saturday. And I arrived Saturday evening. I had a late model call. I got up early Sunday morning prepping models. Sunday and or Monday was the competition. I was back on a plane Monday night, and I was back in the barbershop taking care of my 8 a.m. client Tuesday morning.
Love it.
You know,
And
like I get 23-year-old barbers now. Hey, if I'm going to go to a show on Sunday, can I have Saturday off? I said, for what? Why would you need Saturday off if you get? That's why Sunday's a different day.
Hey, Frank.
You know?
Hey, Frank, that's my life. When you were working me to death over there, I'd get on a plane and straight back work when I got back home.
Well, Gary, as expensive as you are, I had to milk the cow, man. I mean, are you kidding? Damn, I still got a few payments left on you, don't I?
Well, I'm looking forward to coming back and doing some more with your team anyway in the new barbershops.
Yeah.
Just to give you an example of that, Frank, I'm going over to Australia on the 13th of July. I've got one day off when I get there for the travel is 24 hours from.
Same for me, yeah.
My Sunday starts at 9. We break at 12 till 12:30. We work till 4 p.m. At 4 p.m. we have a 2-hour break for dinner, change, and then the group starts back at 6 while 10 for 4 days. I fly back to the UK, and then I'm doing a 3-day Zoom training for Wahl, India. I don't stop till the Wednesday. I'm not taking a day off in between.
No. But you know, the thing is, though, that's why you're on the show, and that's why you're the host of this, because you're willing to do what it takes. You know, we call it. I always tell my staff, you have to be a DWIT if you want to be a champion. And nobody really knows the definition of the word DWIT, DWIT. You got to do whatever it takes. You have to stay hungry. Matter of fact, don't even stay hungry. Stay starving. I don't care. You know, people start making a little money and they feel like they're getting successful. It's a very dangerous mentality and place to be in the industry when you start doing fairly well, because it almost like demotivates you from staying hungry. So I tell my kids, stay starving. And,
you know what?
You know,
and he's got great kids as well, Simon. Jared, is he still in the Tennessee shop? Is he still in Knoxville or not?
Yes, and he just positioned himself to be my partner in our next shop that we're currently building. And I told him he wanted to know how the financial deal was going to go. I said, you know, here's how I'm going to structure it. Really simple. Is as long as you have to stay up at night staring at the ceiling, wondering where payroll is going to come from, you can be my partner. Because I had to do it, and you're not getting away with it, man. You
Hey,
got
Simon, he's not kidding either.
No, listen, it's like listening to Bill all them years ago. It's just like exactly. I love the philosophy, and you know, while there's people around you, there's people like you around this industry. We're a link to the past, but also a breath of fresh air for the future. Sometimes we get told when we're a bit older, "Oh, you pass." Listen, I've seen people fucking skin fade up for years. Don't go on stage again and show me another skin fade. I want to hear what you're saying, what you're doing. You know, the link to the past, but a breath of fresh air to this future. Frank, quick question. If you had to start it all again, you know, Gordan was just saying in his past, he started in 1979. If you had to start it all again, is there anything at the beginning that you would do different?
You know, Simon, I've been asked that question before. And, you know, I think you could always, you know, the journey has been phenomenal. And I don't think there's any story or journey along the way that doesn't have its ups and downs. And my ups have outweighed my downs. And I truly think without the downs, you know, maybe you wouldn't have been toughened up enough to get through it. A lot of people want to go around it. And you got to go through it. The one thing that if I could have changed, I would have, but I don't know if it would have even made sense. My first barbershop was a $7,000 loan. That was the maximum they would give me. I had no credit. I had zero credit. So I was able to get $7,000 at 29% interest. And that was accrued daily. And people tell me that should be illegal. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. But I tell you what, one thing that motivates you behind a chair is debt. And I had a lot of it. $7,000 don't sound like a lot of money, but when you're broke and you're paying 29% interest, that's a lot of money. You know, you end up paying back somewhere in the neighborhood of triple the money, but you know, you're taking the risk. You know, and it's all about risk. But as far as doing anything different, I don't think so, because I'm so grateful of the ride. And I'm so grateful of where I'm at now that I'm afraid that if I did something different, the result might not be the same as it is, and the experiences and the relationships might not be what they are. And I don't take any of it for granted.
The thing is, you got to fail to succeed, mate. You got to fail to succeed. That's what you've got to do. And by the way, that loan you had, was that a mob loan with your Italian connections?
Well, let's just say his last name ended in a vowel.
It's like listening to the Michael Franzine of the hairdressing and barbering world here.
Yeah, I've been known to be, you know, I moved from the New York, New Jersey area, which is very ethnic. And I moved down to the South in Tennessee, which is very English, Irish, Scottish. And I've been kind of, I don't want to say blamed, but I've been accused, if you would, of being in the witness protection program down here. So, you know, an Italian in Tennessee was a little odd.
Frank, this is not a morbid question, but it's a question I like to ask people, and we didn't ask it last time. So don't go too deep into it, but what would you like on your gravestone? What would you like this inscription to say on your gravestone?
Interesting. He gave it his all. He gave it his all. You know, every day I wake up, I thank my maker for an opportunity of today. And my goal is to kick the shit out of every minute.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
You know? It's like having a motivational seminar on a 9:20 in England on an evening, 10:20 in Spain, 3:20 in the US. It's been great. You know, I know you're doing the global intercoiffure. I mean, in the UK, we have the fellowship for British hairdressing, which is very similar. I'm now sitting on the board of the fellowship. I've been a member for 20 years, but I've not really got involved. In the last 2 years, I've got involved. I'm looking after Project Men. Now I'm on the board of directors, and I've just been given the head of education for the fellowship. So it's a big responsibility with what you do with the intercoiffure. It's for the good of the industry. So, you know, I think that is something I'd like to pursue with Trevor and you guys with the fellowship, meet the Intercoiffeur, and we do something transatlantic, whether you guys come over to Salon International or we come over to one of your events and we do something together as the fellowship and the Intercoiffeur together. That should be awesome.
Oh, there's no doubt that we could. First of all, congratulations on your appointment. It runs parallel with my newest appointment, and I just became part of. I was just actually asked to head up the barber division of Intercoiffure Mondiale worldwide. So,
congratulations, mate.
So yeah, thanks. It's very exciting. You know, I did need another job. You know, really, unbelievable. Yeah,
Hey,
it's.
And anything we can do to help you, you know where we are anyway. You know
that. Guys, he's just said this as well. When you work for the Intercoiffeur, I don't know if the Intercoiffeur is same as the fellowship, but you give lots of time, and that is free of charge time.
Same here.
There's no till.
No.
For the good of the industry, you've done it for the industry, and if you're smart about it, you'll get the benefits anyway. You know, it's just for the good of the industry.
Look, you get back what you put out, whether it's in spirit, whether it's in love, whether it's in just what I've learned through the years is anybody that is stingy, whether it be with their time or their money, they're stingy with everything. They're stingy with their love. They're stingy with their knowledge. If you're stingy, you're stingy. And if you give out, you get back tenfold. And if you quit counting, you can't even keep up with what comes back at you.
Frank, at the top of the show, you didn't listen. Me and Gaz opened the show up and we just talk about the last couple of weeks and what we've been doing. And literally today, I've helped about 7 people, all in different ways. Not financially, but advice, some professional, some personal. But I've had a really good vibe about me all day. And I've had this kind of glow around me all day because I know I've really helped people and people have sent me videos saying, thanks for that chat today. You've motivated me, you've helped me. Do you know what you just said there spiritually, when you help people, no matter what negativity comes at you from stupid people, you're like protected.
Yeah. You've earned, we call it ETR. You've earned the right.
Yeah.
You know, Einstein said it best.
Frank, listen. You're gonna have to charge this geezer now tonight. Because he's going to be, he's written everything you said that he'll start charging for this course now. After you
never stop learning. And what I would do if I use any of these phrases in my class, I'll always say this is from a great guy in America called Frank Gambuzza, because I think that's another plus when you compliment other people, because I've been on loads of things lately where you've come up with an idea and somebody said, you've told a person, then they've done it in a meeting, you think, that's my idea, you twat. If you'd have said...
Hey, and you know the biggest problem, Simon? You know the biggest problem with that? What? With your damn accent, it's going to come out a hell of a lot sexier than mine. It's going to piss me off is what's going to happen.
Oh, no.
You would say, I would say to people as well, look, if you said this is Simon's idea, it's great, they would respect you even more, or I'd respect you even more for doing that. And you get away with it. But it's when you come up with the idea and you think it's yours. So whatever I write down, Frank, you'll get, because again, it makes it sexier for me that I can say, this is from Frank Gambuzza in America, who's got so many salons, and it just makes it more cosmopolitan. So I would always have that in it.
You know what, guys?
ETR,
that's why I love the
ETR.
ETR, man. I love being a part of this with you guys because literally we're all learning something and we'll all come away better. It's great being a part of something. I never wanted to be the guy. I always wanted to be one of the guys. And it seems like when you're one of the guys, you get to create that kind of ambiance around. I will come to Dubai. If you send me the dates, I will be there. Dubai. See, I'm going to come to Dubai. Gary's fishing for another free plane ticket to come to America. Did you hear him before?
He is. That's all he's about. He's palm trees, shit like that. That's what he's.
That's the way he is.
You know what, Frank?
He drank all my damn liquor.
Frank, did you ever come across a guy in America called Michael Cole?
Michael Cole's my partner in a business.
The business talker, the motivational guy.
Yeah, he's my partner. We're in a business together called Summit Salon Business. He's my partner.
So this guy, as a young stylist, years ago, he was they fetched him over to, I think it might have been Redkin or somebody fetched him over to London, and he used to come out to the Stevie Wonder music. I changed my life. You can tell him this. I'd love to hook up with him, but he changed my life.
Well, you know what? I'll text him after we get off the phone.
He changed my life.
You should have him on the show. The guy is absolutely brilliant.
To get him on. This guy can you remember when he talks about if you've got any debt and you nuke one by one, and just under the line, above the line. I learned, Gary, you have to. I'm getting cold even speaking about this. I didn't even know you're in partnership with him. I could get really emotional.
Amazing.
This guy changed he changed
Simon.
my life.
Simon, I don't need him. I've spent time with the Frank Gambuzza.
Listen, I know. Frank,
Tennessee.
I was just about to say to Frank when I said, "Do you know somebody called Michael Cole?" Because I'm saying Frank could come to the UK and do seminars just by his knowledge, and we'd fill the auditoriums for you. You would have.
We'll have fun. Count me in. I would love to come back. Michael told me something one time that was amazing. He said, if you, it was about money again, and it was about money for security, not money for things. It wasn't about gold chains. It was about trophies in the bank, right? Like you said, and I love that line. I wrote that one down, by the way. But he said, always be sure there's not too much month at the end of the money.
Yes, he did it. I still use that. I still use that to this day.
That's Michael Cole. Right?
Not too much month at the end of the money. Absolute classic line. Gary, you have to, Frank, seriously, I'm going to hook up with you after this. I want to fetch you guys to the UK. I want to do something with the fellowship. I want to sell something out in London where there's 200-300 people there on a Sunday, and you guys to do a business seminar because it's so needed here in this country. You guys,
it'd be an honor. It'd be an absolute honor.
You need to do it.
Hey, do you want to get on the phone? You want to get on a Facebook Live with Michael this week?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, I'll set the whole thing up. No problem. Done.
I have to say, as a young lad, maybe 28, 29-year-old, young family, doing okay, but he set me on the path for where I am today.
Shit, that was 40 years ago, huh?
How many?
40.
I'm going to say it would have been 20, 25 years ago. Gary, Bill were with me in London. It was the best day of without the hairdressing or barbering seminars, that was the best day of my life in terms of what I ever learned. This guy was fucking awesome. He used to come on to the Stevie Wonder. He used to come on to the Stevie Wonder music. Do. Can you? I don't know if you. He's awesome, Gary. He's awesome. You've got to get this guy, this Michael Cole guy.
Do you know what? If he was, how clever is he then? If he was doing that 25 years, 30 years ago.
Oh, he's one of the originals. No doubt, Gary. The guy is amazing. Still is. We had him for a company meeting about 3 years ago, and he's the only person we ever had that got a standing ovation halfway through his presentation. He wasn't even done with it. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Frank, he's electric, isn't he? He just makes you feel like he eats all your nerves. And if you don't eat your nerves, you need to walk out and pack it in. Get out of this industry. Yeah. If he doesn't touch you and motivate you and make you want to be a better business person, a better stylist, a better everything in one day. Can you imagine having the fucker for 2 days? I'd be like fucking president. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So hook me up, Frank. Hook me up.
So when are we doing this then? Are we doing it in London or Dubai?
I need to speak to Trevor after this. Frank, we'll send you some emails. I need to get these guys over. I think Salon International will be a perfect. First seminar, we could fill it out.
Yeah, it's all about the calendar, right? We could definitely, the content and all will deliver, but as far as the calendar, let's make it happen, and we'll do wherever you want, Gary. Hey, here's the way I look at it, man. Especially now, Simon, with your position, with Fellowship and mine with Intercoiffure Mondial. We're having a big thing coming up in Paris in September. And we just got to look at how do we connect 3 times a year somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And just keep feeding each other. So we just keep squeezing it, man, whatever it takes to get better.
Trevor's on the show, Oak, you and Barry Oak, the CEO of the Fellowship. So I would think this week we'll probably be on a meeting, but there's some amazing stuff we could do here.
That's already. You've already been hooked up with Barry anyway, haven't you? Barry,
with who?
You're with Barry Stevens.
Yeah, we connected with Barry via email. I had a drink with Trevor in Chicago, and yeah, I think the bottom line is we're all kind of interconnected, but now it's time to take it to the next level.
We got to meet in Paris then. We'll be over and we'll meet you in Paris.
Yeah, my wife and I will be in the Amalfi Coast for 3 weeks prior to it, so we're coming straight from Italy to Paris. So I'll get you the dates. I think it's 14, 15, 16, 17 in there. Definitely,
we'll be over. Definitely.
Frank, it's been a pleasure as always. I could listen to you all day long, mate. I could pay to listen to you. The knowledge, the desire, the intellectual conversation that we have, but it's down to earth. It's what we can all understand as barbers, hairdressers. You've done it, you've lived it, but you actually believe what you're saying as well, which is such a breath of fresh air. Knowing that you with Michael Cole, it just changes. It's like having
you've done him now. You've done him now, Frank. I won't see the last. See how I introduced you to Simon. It's
unbelievable. Yeah.
Frank, just before you go, I know we've talked and we're getting on. It's one of our longest shows again because we can't. And I said this to the guys, we'll never get him off, but it's lovely, lovely to speak to you. And we had a little blip at the beginning, but just for our viewers now. So what's going on now with the brand, with Gambuzza? Frank's obviously been swallowed up with that now. So how many stores have you got, and what's the plan in the future?
Well, my partnering with Gordan had 2 sides to it. He has 1,900 plus barbershops on the mass level that is more, economy-based type work. They do really good work, but it's more price point based. And when we got together, he wanted to do a very upscale brand, and he came to me loving our shop. So he said, there's 2 things we need to do before we go to market. And I love this about him. And it boiled down to putting our money where our mouth was. He said, we got to make sure that this model works outside Knoxville because that's your home. And I know a lot of people here. So how much did that play into being successful here? I said, personally, this model could work anywhere. So he said, let's open 3. And 3 seems to be the magic number to being able to monetize resources to be profitable. So we're going to go out, and anybody interested in opening a Gambuzza's barbershop, it's a commitment to 3. And it's for 2 reasons. It monetizes resources, but it also means it's a serious enough buyer that says, I'm going to put everything it takes to make this work because of my commitment. And so basically he's got the backside of the operations piece, which is that they have it like a well-oiled machine. It's unbelievable. And I'm totally responsible for the aesthetics, the build out, and the training. And that's kind of where it's really turned into a great marriage that, as you said, it has us sleeping together now. But so the next is we got franchisees all over the United States. We got about 97 people that say they want it. And he's holding the racehorse back until he feels like it's the right time. I would have probably sold 98 by now if he let me, but he has to hold me back. I get too excited.
If you've got 98 people and they all commit to 3, so you've got possibly 300 stores on the offing.
Yeah. He thinks 300 to 500 is our number over the next 5 years.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're currently laying everything down on video, so all the training will be on video. Obviously, we'll go and launch a new location and bring the team in. My son's responsible for the team right now, and I'd like to bring him to Dubai with us when we come.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, great guy, and he'll get along with the younger barbers. He's 40. He's 40 years old, and so he's going to be responsible for the national training on that side. But it's exciting, But if I think back, I was a football player in high school, and I can remember before one of the big years, there was a big headline in the newspaper, and it said that we, my team, Memorial, had the potential to be the state champions. And my coach taught us what the word potential meant. He said, just so you know, it's a French word that means you haven't done shit yet. So, 3 to 500. Yeah, right. But look, we haven't done shit yet, but we're going to.
Hey, Frank, I mean, Jared's mate, and I'm sure with your tutelage and everything else that you've got, and I've seen your business model anyway. So anything we can do, we will. And when we go to Dubai, it'll be a lot of playtime and not a lot of work time if we go to Dubai.
Well, that where I know how to do that too. I'm flexible, Gary.
Frank, listen, we'll go out and play at night. I'm not a massive drinker, but these are like the Black Roads. And the one thing though, through the day, we go and do the beach area or a pool area, and then we have a chat. And this is where I think I'd just love to spend some time with you, bro. Frank Gambuzza from the Gambuzza Group over in Knoxville. Again, his second time here on Barber's Arms. I'm sure we're going to get thousands and thousands of views watching Frank. Guys, it's been, for me, I've been like a guest tonight watching in, even though I've been interviewing. It's been amazing watching this man talk. I just love to listen to you. Mate, I've asked Trevor already to hook us up in the week. Let's get together and let's see what we can do. I'm sure whatever we do would be awesome.
Well, thank you both for your time and certainly asking me to be back on. And I'd like to thank all listeners for, I know it's in some places around the world, it's quite late. So I honor that. I hope there was something you heard that you could take away. And let's continue to make this trade the profession it was intended to be instead of the trade that it used to be.
Hey, Frank, by the way, I know you knew the essence of the show. You aren't having a little cheeky drink there with us, are you, by the way?
Right here. And I don't drink anything without my logo on it.
Well, I was getting away your t-shirt, but Frank's he's gone out of order now, hasn't he? I need a Gambuzza one. But what's that you're drinking then?
This here? Bourbon.
Bourbon.
Nice. In a pint after you guys.
Every time you took me out, you were drinking iced tea.
No, you just thought it was iced tea. I was making sure you got drunker than me. That's all. I was trying to get you to sign the dotted line that you would give me 50% off, but you never bit.
Well, both tasks are not easy to do. One for you to get him drunk, and so you had to go to bed first, and two to get any discount.
Hey, you guys are awesome.
Been a pleasure, mate. All the best, buddy.
Same to you all. Thank you.
Hey, love you, mate. Give my love to the family.
Same here, buddy. Take care, man. Thank you. Ciao.
Do you know what? For me, that's like a little 7 out. That is just fucking proper. I was getting nice and relaxed, and then now I'm like, do you know what? Do you know the Michael Cole guy? I'm not just saying that. He changed my life. Changed the way stuff. Honestly, mate, this is not an hairdresser or a barber that did any demonstrations. It was just about business. And this is going back like 25 years, maybe 20, yeah, 22, 23, 24, 25 years, something like that. I'd be mid-20s.
Hey, your face when he said, do you know Michael Cole? And he goes, yeah, he's my business partner. And you went, no, Michael Cole, the business coach. Yeah, I've got a business with him. And your face, it was like,
mate, it was just like, yeah, because this guy was a big icon in my career. So, hey, listen, we've all enjoyed. There's not loads of people watching live, but I know that people watch this back. Whether you're watching this tomorrow morning in your sheds, in your little bar areas, while your missus have gone out and you're having a bacon sandwich and a coffee tomorrow morning, you're listening to us all. good luck to everybody. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you're watching us on Sunday, have a nice cheeky little Sunday afternoon drink, or if you're watching us in the week, it's all appreciated. Episode 88, over 9 million views we've had, and all thanks to Wahl and the British Barbers Association fetching you Barber's Arms live. But a great guest tonight, Gordan Logan from Sport Clips, and the very fantastic, impressive Mr. Frank Gambuzza. Hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Weather stays nice and fresh for everybody in the UK, not in Spain. I'm hearing that the clouds are gathering over Alicante.
Well, I'm not in Alicante, so I'm all right. I'm about 4 hours from there, so fuck you.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. It's now dark here. We started off with the sunset over the horizon. We've had two fantastic guests, very, very inspirational. My very good friend, Mr. Frank Gambuzza, and Simon Shaw is starstruck tonight. I don't know if I've seen it before, but Mr. Simon Shaw was starstruck.
Amazing.
Everybody have a fantastic week. We will see you hopefully. I think we're a week on Wednesday. I think we're back on. Last one from España. But can I just say, take it easy. I think the weather's going to be pretty poor in the UK this next week. So I'll just keep an eye on it for you. Mr. Simon Shaw, it's been a pleasure. I'm getting ready by so I've got to go. So adios,
everybody. Adios.
I think I might have a last shot before we go.
No shit there. No shit there then. You better have a movie on show.